Guess what time it is? Okay. I don't know what's going on here. I need to upgrade my equipment. Hey, how you guys doing? I am Brian. You are Chords and Notes Nation. This is another audiobook review. Game of Thrones. A Storm of Swords. George R. Martin. Roy Dotrice narrated it. Random House Audio produced it. Another audiobook review. 39 discs. It's ginormous. It took me a little over 3 weeks to listen to it. I averaged about 2 to 3 discs, about 3 discs at the most a night. Listening to it while I'm driving work. It's kind of nice being out there on the road. Nice big semi. It's at night. And I've got Game of Thrones going. You know, I can't say enough about Roy Dotrice. If you've listened to the other 2 videos that I have, the reviews that I've done, I am just totally amazed by what this man was able to do. And I say was past tense because he did pass away in 2017, as far as I know. But, of course, he could be like, back from the dead, like everyone else in this story. That would be interesting. That would really be interesting. So, where are we in the timeline of this story? We have 5 kings that are vying for the kingdom at this point. The battle's going on. Daenerys is in Essos. Is it Essos? I think it is. The other continent, raising her army, getting things together for her march over or sail over to Westeros, getting rid of slavery, and building an army. Over in Westeros, Stannis is lost. He's regrouping. Robb is king in the north. He's operating out of River Run. And you've got Joffrey sitting on the throne, being a turd like he always is. And you've got Mance Rayder, king beyond the wall, mustering together a wildling army to bust through that wall and head south, because things are starting to get interesting with the Night King and the others and the Whites. And so the action is really starting to pick up. Somebody told me, you know who you are, that the first book and this one, which is essentially the third, are the 2 best in the series thus far. And I'm not going to disagree. I would say I like this one better, and that was a tough decision, because the first one, as we're entering into this world and the 7 kingdoms, and we're being introduced to all of this stuff going on, it's a great entry into it. The second book kind of tanks out a little bit, as far as I'm concerned. At least the first half of it. Second half starts to pick up. And now this one, you've got so much stuff going on. We see both the red wedding happen and the purple wedding. And I'm sorry I keep reflecting on this, and I'm going to jump around stream of consciousness here. But the red wedding scene was powerful, but I don't think it was as powerful as I thought it could have been. And I think the scene that stands out most to me is right at the end with Tyrion, when his brother releases him from prison and then tells him what happened with his first wife, Taisha, which I don't know if that was even part of what was going on in the actual HBO series, but whatever. I'm not reviewing the HBO series. And then he flips. There's a moment he just. It was an amazing, subtle moment, but it happened. And then he goes off and kills Shay, and then finds out that his father doesn't shit gold because he killed him on the privy, and Tywin lost his bowels. That was pretty powerful, the way that it came about, and all of this is based upon listening to one man read the written words. And this is where this marriage between the narrator and the book becomes so important. Roy Dotrice does very well is he captures the essence of each character. He gives them their own voice. The dynamics he uses when he reads it, it's wonderful. It's almost as if, I don't want to say it's real, but it's believable. It's extremely believable, and that's the key, is giving life to those written words. I'm not 100% rah-rah Roy Dotrice, because I think some of the characters, I don't know if he did so good with. Missandei, for example, he gave her just the stereotypical accent, and it just, I don't know, I didn't like the voice he gave her, and then of course it got really weird a couple of times when Jon and Ygritte, so Jon goes north of the wall, and Corn Halfhand tells him to join the wildlings and do whatever they ask, that sort of thing, just to gain info and find out what's going on. And he falls in love with Ygritte, and they wind up having sex quite a few dozen times. And the one or two times that it's actually written out, Roy Dotrice acts it out, with his voice, and it got really weird listening to an old man. Sorry, Roy, but you're old. An old man make all those sounds and stuff. It was just kind of, was not expecting that. And then, of course, when it came time for Peter Baelish and Lysa Arryn for their bedding, he really got into it. Like, I knew it was coming, and I knew he was going to do it, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. But then he just over the top with it. I was like, but I'm doing my due diligence, and I'm listening to the whole thing through. So it was kind of weird that way. The production was fantastic. I mean, there's not, what do you say, he recorded his voice, but, I've heard some audiobooks that just, production wasn't that good. So Random House Audio did a good job. Joffrey is dead, thank God. Oh, that turd. Catelyn and Robb and a whole bunch of their folk were killed at the Red Wedding. Some of the things that I struggled with, and I do with these stories, the fact that they are so in-depth, so detailed, it's a love-hate relationship I have with these stories in those regards. Because it gives a level of reality to it that is just so satisfying. But at the same time, when I'm listening to it, I can't imagine if I were to read this, I'd probably put the book down and walk away from it. I need that pace to continue. And there are times where Martin is writing backstories and that sort of stuff where it was just like, oh my God, this is dragging on and on and on. And it really, to me, didn't make a connection with the plot or advance the plot or character development. It was more of the backstory stuff. And quite often, a lot of the times with Sir Davos, when I knew it was going to be a chapter about him, it was just like, okay, well, it'll be kind of boring. Same with Catelyn. I wasn't really too interested about, with her. It was just kind of a musing, meandering, But, it's been made up for in the action and the plot. The character development in this book are just fantastic, fabulous. So many things are happening to all of the main characters and some of the secondary characters as well. And you really start to see Jon develop. Sansa's starting to develop. Tyrion goes, his character arc is starting to really take off. What else was remarkable about it? Oh, Arya and Sandor Clegane. Now we're starting to spend a little more time on Sandor Clegane and find out what motivates him and what are some of the things that he thinks and feels, and he's starting to become more of a main character. So, and I kind of like how Martin does that. He introduces characters, and then they're just kind of in the sidelines for a while, and then in a certain part of the story they become more of a main character, and then either they're eliminated or they continue on towards the end. So 4 out of 4, absolutely. Is it 4 and beyond? Yeah, sure, why not? How about, let's say 1,600,000,000 out of 4, because this was a really, really good book. The only, I've told you what my downfalls are on this, and it was quite lengthy. 39 discs, so that comes out to be like 47 and a half hours. 47 and a half hours. Almost 2 days straight listening, which took 3 weeks. Anyways, on to the next Feast of Crows, I believe. I have to see if the library has it. Otherwise, I'll have to order it and wait for them to get it to me. So, anyways, be well. April is coming up. Season 8. Almost there. Let's finish it where we began.